Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another monthly money update, how I budget for a new month. I just made a Rich Bish matcha in my new Rich Bish cup. I'm obsessed with this cup and it's so perfect for matcha because the colors go so well together. Anyway, like you guys saw, I just hopped in the car to do my little monthly ATM run. I've got my cash for the month. I've deposited what needs to be deposited. And now we are ready to go home and refresh my budget for the upcoming month of July, not to mention reviewing everything that happened in June. And I feel like I have so much to talk about, so much tea to spill. I'm so excited for this video. So I better get out of this no stopping zone because I'm literally in a no stopping zone right now. Let's go home and get into this video. Cheers. Alrighty, so we are back home. I am feeling so good, you guys, because as soon as I turn off the camera from filming this video, I am gonna be all set financially for the month of July, which is such a good feeling. If you watch my videos and you're not doing your own little monthly money reset, what are you doing? Get on it, please. I promise you guys, you will feel so good when you take anywhere, I would say, from 20 minutes to an hour, only once a month, to review your spending, to make a little budget for the next month. I highly advocate for cash envelopes, but whatever you do, you don't need to do the exact same thing as me. You don't need to make it as elaborate as I do. Over the years, I've really learned to love budgeting and to have fun with it. So I really don't mind that it takes me a lot of time because in a way, this is like a form of self-care for me or even a hobby. I know that it can feel really daunting when you're just starting out, and I too have struggled with a lot of financial anxiety, and a lot of the time that leads me to, especially in the past, it would lead me to avoiding looking at my budget, looking at how much I spent. I would go around pretty much like metaphorically with my eyes closed, just tapping my credit card, looking at my credit card bill at the end of the month and feeling shocked, wanting to cry, actually crying. All of those things. There is no better time to start than now. Start small. What I want for you guys is to take that first step and then the next one and the next one over time. That's exactly how I did it. And for those of you who have been on this journey with me, I'm so grateful for you. And here we go. Another month is here. So let's get into this monthly money reset. So this is also my how I budget video. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys my 5-step routine that I do every single month to refresh my budget, close out the previous month, and get ready for the next one. Today, we're actually adding a little bonus 6th step because I just got back from vacation and been back for a while. It just feels like I just got back. But I wanna review my vacation spending with you guys. I also need to let you know there is so much construction outside of my house. There is so much noise going on, and I deeply apologize if you can hear it, guys. I'm doing my best to stay sane. Deep breath, Zoe. Does anyone else take 7 years to drink an iced drink, or is it just me? Let's dive in with step 1. It's always the same. Say it with me, you guys. Money feels. As an emotional person myself, I think that it is so important to sit down, take the time to analyze how you're feeling about money. I like to speak about it out loud with you guys. I like to reflect in my head. Maybe you want to journal about this in a notebook or on your phone. Whether we like it or not, money is so emotional, and there are direct ties between our emotions and the way that we earn, spend, and invest and save our money. Sometimes we spend more when we're feeling down. Sometimes we spend more when we're feeling happy. And then on the flip side, money can make us feel certain ways. Maybe you had a big unexpected expense. Maybe your car broke down or something happened in your home. Having to fork out money that you weren't anticipating, it can really hurt and it can drag up these uncomfortable or unpleasant feelings. June was a very interesting month for me. I feel like I've been on vacation this entire month when that is so not true. I went on vacation for about 10 days and then everything since coming home has honestly been a blur. I'm only now starting to feel like I'm finally getting back into routine, which led my spending to be so crazy. Where normally my spending is spread out between various categories like groceries and dining out and home and Maggie and this and that, whatever. Pretty much all of my spending was concentrated into 2 categories this month: dining out and vacation. And then of course on vacation, a lot of that spending was eating out. I did not cook this month. I bought groceries only one time. I'm not proud of it, but that's the way it is. While I was on vacation, I was not thinking about money. I was not worried about money, and it felt really great. That is because I fully budgeted for this trip and fully saved up for it in advance. I say this a lot, but I used to be the type of person who would just go on a trip. I'd book the flight, I'd book the accommodations, like whatever needed to happen. I'd spend on whatever I wanted while I was there, and I would just deal with the consequences when I came home. That would lead to feelings of guilt while I was on the trip and immense feelings of guilt afterwards. What I've started to do to save up for travel is I have a special little travel sinking fund. I keep that sinking fund with Wealthsimple, and by sinking fund, just think savings account. I usually try and bring it up to about $2,000 or $2,500. And when that money is in an account, that's when I know that I can afford to go on another vacation. So prior to going to Greece, I had $2,500 in this account. Once the tickets were paid for, I knew how much I had left to spend while I was there. And then you come home and everything's paid for and there are no surprises. It's such a good feeling. When I came home, I feel like I had a harder time adjusting to being back. Like I told you guys, I really felt like I was on vacation and I was just eating out like crazy. I was so out of my routine, which obviously is fine, but the more out of my routine I am, the more I want to spend and I want to shop. Eating out is such a luxury and it is so expensive. Something that I've been speaking about with my boyfriend is how we tend to eat out when we are kind of pressed for time or we're stuck, rather than eating out for like the joy of going to a restaurant and having a date night. We end up spending the same, if not more, on things like quick takeout and just casual food, like on a weeknight, because neither of us have time to cook or do groceries. And we both decided that there would be so much more satisfaction in spending that money on not necessarily fancy restaurants, but just an experience that comes with dining and going out for quality food, rather than using it to spend on quicker options because we were too lazy or too busy to go to the grocery store. So that is a change that I and we will be implementing in the month of July. And I'm actually really excited to just kind of go back to seeing cooking as a challenge and something to have fun with, making weekly grocery menus, all of that. The last thing I wanted to say about my money feels is as the month started to wind down, that's when the feelings of financial anxiety really started to creep in. Those of you who watch my videos every single month, you're probably like, oh yeah, that sounds familiar. I'm a broken record at this point, but avoidance really equals anxiety, at least for me. As the month was winding down, I knew that I hadn't done as great with my finances as I wanted, and I knew that I went way over my dining out budget. I started to avoid looking at my finances and reconciling with my credit cards because I ran out of cash, so I was just eating out on my credit card. I was like turning a blind eye to it, and I was like, I'll deal with it later, I'll deal with it later. But whenever I tell myself, oh, I'll deal with it later, in the moment, it creates this sense of uncertainty, and the uncertainty leads to anxiety because I always think it's so much worse than it is. So now that I spent the morning organizing everything and reconciling everything and really seeing a true picture of what I spent, I feel so much better. So it's just my classic little reminder that I think it's really important when you are, if you are the more anxious type like me, to check in quickly once a week. I think it does a lot of good for the peace of mind. So that's it for me. I would love to hear from you guys how you're currently feeling about money. We are more than halfway through the year, so how are things going towards your goals? Are you surpassing them? Are you maybe not quite hitting them yet? It's not too late. We can do it. I feel like I am falling short on some of my goals, but I don't know. I'm not gonna be too hard on myself. I'm like, it's summertime, it's time to have fun. That being said, just because it's summertime does not mean that I want to slack on my goals, and I don't want you guys to slack on them either. So the next video that you see from me will be a money goal setting and net worth update. So keep an eye out for that. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's get into step 2, which is the bonus step of what I spent on vacation. I did get some questions on my travel vlog and on my return from travel vlog asking if I would share like a cost breakdown of the trip, and I am happy to do so. So I went to Greece. We stayed in Hania the entire time, and I did go with my family, which honestly helped me save some money. The deal was that my stepmom would pay for the Airbnb, which is so generous. I also happen to know that she got a really good deal on the Airbnb, which is great because I'm not that much of a mooch, okay? I'm not like, yeah, book us like the bougiest place. Anyway, that was really, really generous of her. So I did save a big chunk of money there. I paid for my flights, which came out to $1,015. Really, really good deal there. We did take an extended way of getting to Hanya, which helped us save money. I'm not actually sure if I would do that again because it did cause a lot of extra headache. But anyway, that's what I paid for the flights. Once we were there, I was pitching in for groceries. We ate breakfast at home pretty much every day of the trip. We ate dinner or lunch at home a couple of times as well. And by home, I mean the Airbnb. So just doing that and having that more frugal mentality as it pertains to dining out while you're on vacation can help you save a ton. Because eating out 3 meals a day really does get expensive. I would say Hanya was very affordable. Like they were giving so much food for so few euros. But at the end of the day, it still adds up. So again, eating out 3 times a day, we tried to cut it down to eating out only once or twice max. I did track every dollar that I spent on the trip, but I did not really allocate like, okay, this was on dining out and this was on that. So I can't give you guys like this perfect breakdown of what I spent. Because I save up for it in advance, I don't want to worry about that when I go on a trip. I'm like, this is my vacation bucket and it can be spent however I want. I really take the stress off my shoulders in that sense. If I had to guess, I would say most of the money I spent was on food. And then after that, I would say most of the money I spent was on souvenirs and jewelry. It is so crazy, you guys, because I was almost exactly on budget when it came to my vacation spending. So like I told you guys, I spent $1,000 on the flight and I took that from my vacation sinking fund. I had $1,500 left in that sinking fund, but I felt like that was a lot of money to spend in just a little over a week. So I set myself the budget of 1,000 Canadian dollars and then whatever that turned into in euros. When I added up all of my vacation spending, it came to $1,113, which is so crazy, you guys, because that $113 is exactly allocated to the fact that on the way home, I had to check my carry-on because it was too heavy. So were it not for that annoying incident at the airport, I would have been perfectly on budget. Can you believe it? Honestly, I'm like, that is so serendipitous. Like that just made me so happy when I added everything up and saw those numbers, because that $113 is Air France's fault. It's not my fault. So $2,128 was the total cost of my Greece vacation. I'm so happy with the trip. I'm so grateful. I really had the best time and it's just memories that will seriously last me forever. Money well spent. Money well spent. Step number 3 is to empty my cash envelopes. I actually did that this morning and it was before I put on makeup and it was filmed with my worser camera. So prepare to see me in a new light. Okay, let's head over to my desk and unstuff my cash envelopes. Let's empty my cash envelopes. I have been doing my budget all morning. Like I've just been sitting here, blue light glasses on for the past almost 2 hours. That's embarrassing. My budget was so messy this month. I was so messy this month, which is why it's taking me longer to clean everything up, but I'm starting to feel so good. I need to take a look at these cash envelopes because we will talk momentarily about how much I spent and the totals and vacation and all of that. But my spending was so skewed this month. I feel like I actually only spent in 2 categories. And in one category in particular, I overspent like crazy. So that means that I actually have some money left over in these envelopes. I want to take it out so that I can transfer some of that money into the categories that I actually overspent in to kind of balance out my budget. So let's take a look at that. I'm gonna take out all of the envelopes. The first envelope we have is dining out. This is the culprit. This is where I overspent like crazy. I've already input into my budget tracker every single dollar that I spent in every category. And there ended up being a lot of spending on credit in the dining out category. So like I just mentioned, I want to transfer myself some cash so that I can deposit it into my bank account and use that cash to pay off my credit card. And again, just kind of like balance out the budget. So nothing to take out from dining out. This is so sad, you guys, but groceries. Let's see how much money I have left in here. And I have already done one transfer from this envelope into dining out. I transferred $80 to There's $60 left in groceries. I'm looking at my budget tracker. This doesn't exactly line up. It says there's $20 missing here, which is probably just like a miscalculation on my part. You guys are gonna see it's actually really sad. Let's just check right now. Did I even buy groceries once? I bought groceries one time this month. One time only. So $80. And actually, I'm gonna do the transfer right away. I'm gonna take this $80 and transfer it to dining out, but I'm not even gonna actually put it in this envelope. I will instead put it to spent on credit. I may as well just tell you guys now, I overspent by $200 on credit in the dining out category. Embarrassing, but I cooked once or twice. I cooked once or twice this month. Like that's it. 3 times if you count when I went to Camilla's house and helped her cook a HelloFresh meal. Like that's just embarrassing. So this will go towards paying off my credit card. Now, instead of being $200 over, I'm $120 over, which is better, definitely better. So I'm gonna just go in and reflect that change in my budget tracker. I'll show you guys how I do it. So I will go into groceries. You guys can see in the top over here, it's already showing a formula. It's showing 250 minus 80. And I'm just gonna take out that was $60 actually. So my calculation previously wasn't correct. I'm actually $140 over. So I'm gonna remove the 60 from here. Then I will go into dining out, turn this into a formula by adding the equal sign, and then adding in that extra $60. So now it's showing that my dining out budget was $340, even though at the beginning of the month I had only set $200. The actual spending $388, showing that I overspent by only $50. Oh my God, you guys, is my brain broken? Like none of my calculations are adding up. Moving on, we have personal care. I did not buy anything in the personal care category, so I have $20 left. I think I'm actually gonna leave this here and start like a little personal care sinking fund. So this is gonna stay as is. The next category is sewing. There's $100 in here. I haven't touched it and I'm just gonna save it for next month. Once again, starting a little sinking fund. What's next? We have the Maggie fund. So let's actually count how much is in here. The budget tracker says I should have $18 left, but I feel like there's more. 20, 30, $40. So this must be, everything is a mess this month, you guys. I don't know what's going on. Let it be known that it's so normal to have months like this when you don't take the time to check into your budget throughout the month. So I'm excited to just clean all of this up and then have a fresh start for the month of July. I'm gonna need to go back into my expense log and figure out what happened, but I will take this $40 and put it towards that spent on credit to help compensate for that dining out spending. So I'm just gonna put this to the side for now. The gifts category, I budgeted $0. There's nothing left. I didn't spend anything. And then lastly, the home category, I have $30 left. I think I will leave this as is and start a little sinking fund. The last category would be treat yourself, and there's nothing left. I spent it all. So these are all emptied. It's always just such a good feeling to get these emptied out, and then I know that I'm starting like my fresh start for next month. Whoops. Quick update, I found where the missing Maggie issue was. I bought poo bags for her for 20 bucks and I forgot to pay myself back. I bought them on credit, forgot to pay myself back. So I'm gonna shove that $20 in here, and then the remaining $20, I'm gonna do exactly what I just did from the groceries envelope, giving it to dining out. I'm gonna take it from Maggie's. So her original budget being $150, I'm gonna do $150 minus 20. And then I will add that $20 to dining out, which I will then add the 20 to spent on credit to help cover that overspending. Now that that's done, step 4 is to review what I spent last month. I was gonna bring you guys over to my desk, but honestly, I spent the whole morning there and I'm really comfortable on this chair next to my plant, next to the window. So we're gonna stay, what was that? We're gonna stay here. So what you see on the screen is my budget tracker from The Line, and I want you guys to bring your eyes over here to the expense summary. This is where I create my budget every single month for my variable spending. So in the bill payments over here, this is where I will include recurring payments that are the same every single month, things like rent, car insurance, parking, all of that. The interesting stuff and the fun stuff is here in the expense summary. So I've already told you guys a little bit about how my spending went this month and how it was so concentrated between vacation, which was pre-budgeted for, and dining out. Now, the good news is that I was able to compensate from other accounts where I had budgeted money, but I wasn't actually spending it. I was able to make up for that overspending on dining out. So if you actually go to the bottom of my budget, you can see that I'm under budget by $173, which is not at all what I would have expected. The other thing that's really interesting of how I am still under budget is if you guys look at this line right here where I overspent by $320. I was so late at switching over my winter tires, so that is the $120 that I had budgeted. But you can see I ended up spending $440 because there was something wrong with my car. They found something wrong when I brought my car in to get the tires changed. I always go to my cousin's garage in Ottawa and they always hook me up with a deal. I got so lucky. Basically, the front spring of my car was broken, definitely because of all the potholes in Montreal. If I had brought this to any other garage, I really think that the new part plus the work would have taken me out like $1,000, but they gave me the family discount, so I only had to pay $440, which is so blessed. Like, honestly, I'm so grateful. $1,000, I think I would have been upset. I would have had to take the money from my emergency fund because my car sinking fund has no money in it. $440, I was like, okay, this isn't the end of the world. It's not worth getting upset over. I was planning to take the difference, so the $320 from my emergency fund, but I ended up having enough in my accounts to just cover it. So that's that. That was a big expense and it was an unexpected one of the month. Everything else is super boring, you guys. Like I said, I barely bought groceries. I ate out a ton. Maggie's spending was actually below average. While we were away, it was JS's mom who watched her, which saved us so much money, and I'm so grateful for that. The power of family, you guys. Maybe that is the moral of this story, the moral of this video. Nothing on transportation. I bought this Nespresso cup and some cute ice cubes as my treat yourself moment of the month. Nothing on personal care. I'm not even going in order, so sorry about the chaos. But I did want to give myself a pat on the back and say that it has now been a full 6 months since I have put anything on my fingernails. Coming from a former nail addict, that is crazy. I love having natural nails and I'm noticing more and more people are doing it. A lot of people are calling it recession nails, which is kind of funny. My nails are so healthy. They grow so long. Like I couldn't be happier. I'm so glad I made that decision. Honestly, that's it. Like nothing that interesting was spent. I don't think we need to spend any more time here. Step 5 is fun. Let's talk about my income, my saving, and my investing. So moving over in the budget tracker, we can go over to my income summary. So I'm a weirdo. I have 3 different jobs and all of them are considered self-employed. So why that's important is because everything in this income summary is before taxes. So not all of this money actually went straight into my checking account. Well, technically it did, but then I have to take money off of it. When you work for a company, they take off the taxes and send it to the government on your behalf. So that extra money never actually touches your bank account. I have to do that for myself because I'm self-employed. So I always write my amounts here before taxes. That being said, I was thinking of switching next month to tracking the after-tax amount. I will let you guys know what I decide. So my first paycheck was copywriting. It was quite low, and the bad news is it's gonna be even lower next month. $420 from copywriting. I teach Pilates part-time at 2 different studios. The first studio paid me $1,000 and the second studio paid me $737. Then I paid myself a monthly dividend from my company. My company is related to YouTube and content creation. I gave myself a little bit extra because I needed this new affiliate is a Pilates affiliate program. I did my training online and I have a special referral link. So anyone who signs up for the training using my link, I get a little kickback, which is amazing. So if you want to become a Pilates instructor, I'll have my thing linked down below. And then the last thing, which was so nice, is I did get an unexpected tax refund of almost $500. So that money went straight into my savings. In April and May, I started a $2,000 in 2-month saving challenge because I wanted to get myself reinvigorated as it pertains to saving and investing. I had kind of gotten into a slump and I was just like kind of doing the bare minimum. I wasn't excited about it. I wasn't trying hard. I was just kind of like, ugh, whatever. But when you have a goal and when you want to achieve your goal, whether it's financial, whether it's fitness, career, anything, we can't just sit down and expect our goals to happen for us, to us, just because we want them to. You need to put energy towards the things that you care about. So that was my intention with the savings challenge. Now, I did want to start that challenge again, $2K in 2 months. So for June and July, that would mean about $1,000 in June and about $1,000 in July. It's kind of sad to say, but I rely on these unexpected things happening in order to meet my savings goals. And I kind of love that. I basically make enough money to have a nice lifestyle and pay for my daily expenses and just like my daily little luxuries. Like, I'm not the most frugal person. I think you guys know that about me. I'm drinking out of a stupid $30 Nespresso cup. So whenever these bonus instances of money come in, I'm so grateful for them, and I like to just put them all straight away into saving or investing. So I was worried that for June, I would have $0 to contribute to my savings challenge. This unexpected tax refund came through, and it literally just came through like just a few days ago. I only really remembered it today when I sat down to do my budgeting. So it was such a relief and such a fun and just good feeling moment of being like, I'm just gonna put this whole almost $500 towards the savings challenge. So I'm not gonna lower my goal. I'm still gonna aim for 2K, because shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you land among the stars. So if we scroll down, we can see that, yeah, I had set the goal of about $1,000 in savings. It's actually $490. The last thing is my investments. So my monthly goal of investing has been $500. It's been that way for the past 6 months, maybe longer. Just like the savings, I was not sure where I was gonna come up with the money to put towards my investments. My goal was $500, like I said, and I was able to come up with $400. And honestly, I'm really happy with that because it's just better than nothing. If you add this $400 with the savings challenge $490, that's almost $900 of saving and investing this month, which is actually amazing. So really, really happy with that. On that note, you guys, I actually checked in with my net worth tracker this morning. Yeah, this morning. It's not that different from when I made my net worth video, but it just felt so good to check in with my net worth kind of 2 months in a row. And it did go up a little bit. So I'm so excited. I'm still feeling so driven and motivated towards my goal of $100,000 of net worth. To me, that's just so much money. And I don't know, I'm just gonna be so proud of myself when I hit that milestone. So like I said earlier in the video, my next money video is gonna be an update on my progression and just making a plan to ensure that I hit that goal. Because like I was just saying, we need to put our energy towards our goals and towards the things that are important to us. Okay, this is almost done. We've made it to step number 6, which is the last step of this whole routine. It's planning next month's budget. So moving over to July's tab, I already took the time to input everything. Starting with my income, I can usually predict what my income's going to be because as a freelancer, I get paid for the previous month's work the following month. So in July, I'm getting paid for June's work. Since we're wrapping up June, I already know how much my invoices are gonna be, and then the payments of those invoices arrive in July. So it's much lower. This is probably the lowest I've ever invoiced for copywriting, $245. There just hasn't been that much work. And then and this is something I need to keep reminding myself because sometimes I feel really disappointed. I'm like, oh my God, I used to make like $1,500 a month copywriting. But when I was making that much from copywriting, I wasn't teaching Pilates either. So I was dedicating way more time to it. And when you get paid by the hour, obviously the more time you put, the more money you'll make. So that's part of it, is that I just don't have as much time to give them. And then they also don't have as much work to give me right now. It's interesting because I was actually hired for that job to revamp certain things and then be on my way. And it's turned into a really long-standing relationship. But I guess the fact that there's not that much work means I've kind of done a great job. Everything that needed to be revamped has been revamped. They don't need me anymore. That being said, I actually have a meeting in 45 minutes to start a new project with them. So hopefully that'll be fun and hopefully that'll give me some more hours, make more money. My Pilates paychecks are a little bit lower too because I was on vacation for a week and some, so I wasn't teaching classes. So again, don't work, don't get paid. And then my dividend, I've decided just to bump it up to $2,000 a month. I feel like I was putting this pressure on myself to pay myself as little as possible and just like get by on as little as possible. I don't know where that weird mentality comes from, but I gotta talk to my therapist about it. But this morning I was kind of like, Zoe, you do work really hard. It's your money, like you're allowed to give yourself this payment. And for the most part, I wanna pay myself more to advance myself towards my goals, not to buy more stuff. Maybe a little bit buy more stuff, but mostly for my net worth. So that's my income. My bill payments, you guys, they're always the same. I actually just need to add, oh, we're gonna take off QuickBooks. I don't pay for QuickBooks anymore, but I do now have Disney Plus. It's $10 a month. Oh, and Netflix is not on here either, so let's add it. Netflix, I think, is 12. So you guys have seen this budget a million times, my fixed expenses. Moving over to the expense summary, I started fresh with my budget per category. Sometimes in a month when things have gone really well the previous month, I'll just copy paste that budget over and do the same thing. The last month was crazy, so we're starting fresh. This whole top section, so from groceries down to transportation, this is my cash budget. So this is what I will withdraw from the ATM. I'll withdraw like a stack of cash and then I split that up between my cash envelopes. We will do that in a moment. Everything at the bottom, except for sewing actually, is a non-cash category. So I will pay for that either with my credit cards and then pay off my credit cards at the end of the month. Maybe I'll pay for them from sinking funds or from my debit. To me, for example, gas, it just doesn't make sense to take out cash and then when I go to the gas station, I have to go in and see the person. Like I just want to tap my card and be on my way. And gas is pretty predictable when it comes to like the price of it. It's not something that I just will go fill up gas for fun like I would for like dining out or coffee. So that's that. That's a look at my overall budget. We've made it to the end, which means it's time to stuff my cash envelopes. So here we have $450 for groceries. This is my biggest cash category. And like I said, my goal for July is to stay home and cook a lot more, try new recipes, and just have fun with that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 100. This makes $250 for dining. Wait, what? No. This makes $200 for dining out. For the home category, we already have $30 in here. I'm adding another $50 and then I will edit the amount in there to reflect the new total of $80. 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, $150 for Maggie. I actually forgot to mention this, but I'm cutting Maggie's budget down because I am so tired of paying for the dog sitter every single week. To go back to the theme of the month being family, I'm gonna see if I can lean on family a little bit more to watch her on the days of the week that I go teach. Instead of spending $50 every single week on the dog sitter, that should save me anywhere from $100 to $200 a month, which would be so amazing. July is actually my birthday month, so I have bumped up my treat yourself budget to $100. I actually don't really have anything in mind right now. We shall see what I treat myself to. For personal care, we have the leftover $20, and then I'm going to add another $20. I'm doing $0 for gifts. I'm leaving sewing as is. This last $30 is actually for transportation. I just have no idea where the envelope is. So I'll just put it aside for now. I always say this, but clipping everything into its binder is always my favorite part of the cash envelopes. It just feels so satisfying and so abundant to have my entire budget in my hands like this. Beautifully organized, nice and colorful Canadian money. It just really makes me so happy and it's so satisfying. And there we go. So we're all done, you guys. Everything is all set for a new month. I literally feel like the soap emoji. The soap emoji, I feel clean inside when this routine is complete. Cash envelopes stuffed, everything input, credit cards paid off, money put towards investments. Like once all of those things are done, it's like green check mark emoji, soap emoji. So if you watch to the end of this video, comment either or both of those emojis. I feel so good, you guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I am so thankful to have you as my friends along this money journey. I say journey like that because my boyfriend, who's Quebecois, that's how he says journey. Well, not for real, but like he says it ironically like that. Anyway, it makes me laugh so much. And I've just become hyper aware of the way that influencers and like reality TV people use the word journey to describe everything. So like I can't say it anymore. I can't take myself seriously. I will shut up now. I love you guys so much. See you in my next video.